Raptors are bringing the NBA Finals to Canada for the first time. Toronto won 4 straight to close out the Bucks and win their first Eastern Conference title, and they did it all on their home floor.
You know, I worked so hard to get to this point with the season I had last year. You know, just always betting on myself and knowing what just knowing what I feel and, you know, what's right for me. And, you know, end up coming here with a great group of guys.
You know, it's taken a long time to get here in my career, 13 years, 7 years here. I've ran into one guy for a while, and, you know, we were given an opportunity, he left, and we beat a really good team in Milwaukee. For me, you know, I'm savor the moment, but, you know, I'm not satisfied. You know, our goal is to win the NBA championship, and, you know, we're just going to keep getting better and plugging on the way.
The 2019 NBA Finals are set. Game 1 will be Thursday in Toronto. Welcome into our Atlanta studio. Game Time is up and running. Greg Anthony right there. Brendan Haywood. I'm Matt Weiner. Good to have you with us. Last July, Raptors president Masai Ujiri pulled off a risk-reward deal for Kawhi Leonard. And whatever happens this summer, the reward part has already paid off because the Raptors are going to the finals for the first time. And Leonard was a difference maker throughout the postseason, leading all players in total points. 7 times he scored 35 or more. Beyond the numbers, guys, was the sheer determination of Leonard, which showed up on both ends of the floor.
Yeah, Leonard was definitely determined, and it was one of those things that nothing was going to stop him. Offensively, it didn't matter who you put on him. Defensively, he was not scared to guard anybody, and it didn't. Whether he was injured, whether he was under the weather, Kawhi Leonard came out there and always put his best foot forward. And even on nights when he didn't have the best shooting nights, he would go out there and do something else. He didn't shoot a great percentage from the field tonight, but he had 17 rebounds. That's the true mark of a great player. On nights when you're not scoring, you're able to affect the game in other ways. There's some players that if they're not scoring, they're snoring. Kawhi Leonard's not one of those guys.
Yeah, I just think overall for him the validation of what he had to go through a season ago, the issues about the load management over the course of the regular season.
A lot of snickers about that over the course of the season.
Yeah, but you know what? It's all culminated in him putting his best foot forward with just an incredible performance. That shot right there will probably go down as the most famous shot in Raptors history.
For sure.
Think about it. And that allowed them to get to this point where they're now going to be playing for an NBA World Championship. And it is because of the impact he's had on the floor. And to Brendan's point, like statistically, offensively, he's been as good, if not better than anybody in the entire league in the postseason. But he's also been so dominant on the defensive end, which has been equally as impressive for him. And you know what? You could make an argument that he is the best player. I mean, Kevin Durant, a lot of people will tend to lean that way, but when you factor in what he does on the other side of the floor, and I say it all the time, you know, we play 94 feet. We don't just play half court. What he does on that side of the ball, boy, is as impressive, especially in today's game, because it is much harder to impact the game defensively today because of the spacing and three-point shooting. And he has an ability, a unique one, to dominate that side of the floor.
Yeah, how many times have we seen him in the playoffs just decide to take the ball from another player? Not a loose ball, a ball a guy had, and all of a sudden it's Kawhi's and he's going back the other way. Well, for what it's worth, in the regular season, the Raptors won both games. They swept the Golden State Warriors. The Warriors, for obvious reasons, are already installed as fairly heavy favorites against the Raptors, who, of course, have home court advantage. Game 1 starting on Thursday. How do you see this playing out?
I see it being a very competitive series, especially if Kevin Durant doesn't play. I think that definitely makes it evens things out a little bit. And I think the Raptors are going to be able to scare the Golden State Warriors. In the end, I do think the Golden State Warriors will win the series. I think the Splash Brothers, the combination of the two will be too much for them. And Steph Curry right now is probably playing some of the best playoff basketball that we've seen in his playoff career. But I do think that not having KD is going to be problematic. And this Golden State Warriors team, I know some people like to say, oh, they're playing so much better now. They're not better without Kevin Durant. The Splash Brothers are just so good that Kevin Durant becomes a luxury. And when I look at this series, I think it's going to be tough. I think Toronto has the athletes to match up with the Golden State Warriors, but I still do think that Golden State finds a way to get it done by 6 games.
Well, to be clear, at this point, we don't know if Kevin Durant is going to be available at any point during the NBA
That's
Finals.
huge.
It sounds like more than likely he will not be available for Game 1 based on what the Warriors are saying, what Durant has said, reports out of Golden State. Also, Andre Iguodala is banged up a little bit. He's also got a calf injury. Those are pretty significant factors going into an NBA Finals.
No doubt about it. And this isn't going to be a team in Toronto that the Warriors are going to face that haven't been on the stage. They've got a lot of guys who have finals experience. One of them's got an MVP of the finals in Kawhi Leonard. Danny Green's been on those teams. You know, Marc Gasol's played deep in the postseason. Serge Ibaka's played in the NBA Finals. So they, you know, that experience. Kyle Lowry's played in conference finals. Like, they have guys with a lot of experience, and then that defensive versatility that they feature, I think will present a bit of a challenge. Houston always gave them trouble because of their ability to switch 1 through 4, 1 through 5. This team does it probably better because they're more athletic. You know, they bring an element of athleticism to the table that Houston didn't really offer,
right.
1 through 5. And so I do, like Brendan said, I think it's going to be a very intriguing finals, whether Kevin Durant plays or not. I just think that this Toronto team, because of Kawhi Leonard, they're going to have a level of confidence and a belief, because they're going to take the floor. They're going to say, hey, look, we feel like we got the best player in the league.
Right.
And you saw Masai Ujiri talk about that. That was a subliminal message he's sending to his whole team to get their belief factor up, because it is going to be a challenge to take on the world champ.
Well, Steph Curry may have a claim for that as well in
Yeah.
this postseason. He's been great, and the numbers have gone up with Durant off the floor. What do the Raptors have to deal with in Steph Curry now?
Well, he is always electric, and now, to your point, more of a focal point. You know, he's got the ball. He's always great without it, but he has it now more in his hands at times without having Kevin Durant out on the floor. And the thing that is so deadly with them is the collective basketball IQ. You know, they take advantage of defensive breakdowns better than any team I've ever seen. You know, their chemistry and understanding and spacing on the floor is really unmatched. And I think the one thing that they kill a lot of teams with is their transition offense. They are so good, and that's an area of strength for Toronto. They're a terrific transition team in terms of defensively. So I do think there'll be a bit of a chess match in this series, because they've got some weapons on that side as well. And listen, Klay Thompson hasn't been great. You know, you could see a Klay Thompson sighting in this finals, and they're going to need it. I mean, I do think this series could be very competitive because, again, these teams, not only with the familiarity of being in this moment, but also with the fact that from a personnel standpoint, they really do match up well.
Steph's connection to the Raptors will be a storyline as well. Of course, his dad, Dell, played in a Toronto Raptors uniform. Draymond Green, Klay Thompson, Iguodala, if he's available, will all have a serious assignment in front of them in dealing with Kawhi Leonard and everybody else who winds up crossing his path. How do you think they'll go at Kawhi defensively?
Defensively, they try to make Kawhi see a lot of bodies. You don't guard Kawhi just one-on-one. One-on-one, I think he's proved that he's one of the better players in this league, and he can't be guarded in that fashion. He's strong. He can bump you off. He's improved his handle, his jump shot. He's improved so many aspects of his game. Now he's a total, well-rounded offensive player. So I think the way you guard Kawhi is help. And it's understanding what the game plan is, what the scheme is. Hey, when he catches the ball in certain areas, we want to double him, or we want to send him to help off of this certain player. That's the way you beat, or not even beat, slow down great players. Because, you know, you can't stop a great player. You just try to slow him down, make him have inefficient quarters or maybe an inefficient half. And I think it's going to come down to the game plan and the scheme, and not just one man locking down Kawhi Leonard. He's gotten past that in his career. One guy doesn't stop him.
They may have to get some more consistent shot making from the other guys around Kawhi Leonard. Fred VanVleet's been unbelievable the back half of the series. Danny Green never did find his stroke.
Danny was struck. We need the UNC legend, Danny Green. We need you in this series, baby.
APB.
UNC legend.
Yeah, whenever you mention a UNC player, especially
He's
Danny
had
Green,
big moments
UNC
in the
legend.
finals shooting the three, that's for sure, with the San Antonio Spurs. It all starts on Thursday. Toronto hosts the NBA Finals for Games 1 and 2.
At 11, heading into the 1982 finals against Philadelphia. So Isaiah Thomas, Grant Hill, Jared Greenberg. What do you take, Isaiah, from hearing the update on Cousins, who has gotten on the court, but we don't know, but he's optimistic, and Kevin Durant's optimistic as well that he'll get involved in the series. We just have no idea when.
As a basketball fan and also someone who's rooting for Cousins, I'm happy that he's going to have a chance to participate and play in the finals. You know, you didn't want to see him go down like that with the injury that he did, but I'm happy that he's able to come back and be able to perform. When you look at Golden State, you know, what does he do for them? He gives them a adequate third scorer, someone who can really come in when the pressure is on Steph, when the pressure is on Clay, because we saw that they can trap Steph, they can trap Clay, and that consistent third scorer that Cousins can be out on the floor, they will need him in this series, the next series, whether it's Toronto or Milwaukee, if Durant is not playing.
And, you know, as Jared, I mean, I agree with Isaiah. What's interesting too, Will, is that a lot of teams, you get to this point in the season, and you know they've gone through some adversity as a ball club, but they're playing good basketball now. They have a great rhythm, and now you bring at some point Kevin Durant back in the mix, who is the best player on the planet right now, and certainly is someone that would cause you to adjust how you play. And you insert a DeMarcus Cousins, who's a great player in his own right, and he's trying to figure out, and he plays a certain way. You want to adapt and adjust to what he brings to the table. And most teams, you'd say, you know what, that's a problem, and that could throw things off a little bit. But this team, because of their experience, because of their character, because they know how to play, I'm not worried at all.
Right. Yeah.
And now it'll be a little bit of an adjustment, but you saw how they adjusted when Durant went down after Game 5. They just kept it smoking.
Was there an adjustment?
Exactly.
If there's one, I didn't see it.
And so I think, you look at those two players, you're like, wow, but then you also realize that's going to alter things when they get back. But I just feel the character, the basketball IQ, the experience, all of that will factor in, and these guys will figure out how to make it work. I'm confident in
Isaiah, does it matter whether it's the Bucks or Raptors if Durant does or does not play at all in the NBA Finals?
I don't think it matters, but if Durant or Cousins is not able to play, or if Durant is not able to play and Cousins is not able to play at a high level, I do think Toronto or Milwaukee is capable of beating Golden State. Now, having Durant there and having him back makes Golden State unbeatable. But if Durant's not there, then we got real competition. But, you know, when Durant's on that team, I mean, they truly are unbeatable.
No, I agree. I mean, look, it gives them a better chance.
Can they win without him, though? Without Durant?
I mean, they can. Yeah. They can, but I think it levels the playing field.
Interesting,
it makes
right?
it interesting,
Yeah.
yes. It gives them a greater chance to be successful, to win convincingly with Durant out there. I know they're playing great basketball, they're sharing and moving, but with all due respect to Portland, Toronto and Milwaukee defend a whole lot different, have great length on the perimeter, and create different problems for this ball club. So they will need, I think, a healthy, or as close to being 100% healthy, Kevin Durant out there for them.